Hi, and welcome to another in the vlog series of why answers aren't always the answer. In this series we're going to talk about one of the very tricky problems in market research, which is the fact that we know people don't say what they do and don't do what they say. And since the burgeoning field of behavioural economics has come into been recognised by the industry, we now know one of the reasons, and one of the main reasons for this, is because people simply aren't aware of what goes on internally. And when they try and introspect and get information out, often it's not there. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that today in terms of how we actually experience things. Because we like to think that we go into the world and we experience stuff as it is. But actually, that's not the case. So what I want you to do first is do a little thought experiment for me. I want you to look, don't go into your pocket, it's a pound coin. I want you to think about the reverse of that pound coin and tell me whether you think the queen looks left or the queen is looking right. Now, if you ask people this, 88% of people say she's looking left, but she's actually looking right. And that's always been the case. So even something that you see every day, you can get wrong. Why is this? Well, because we don't necessarily pay attention to that kind of thing. There's a few theories. I mean, one prominent one is that, stamps, the queen faces left, and because that's sort of spatial and we know where it goes on an envelope and we have a sort of spatial awareness when we're placing it on an envelope, that probably means that we just automatically think that the queen's always pointing left on things. But even something that you encounter every day, you can get wrong. And that's because we don't experience what we experience what we expect to experience quite often. So if in our minds our brain is telling us that the queen points left, we'll just expect that to be the case. And we can see a lot of this with visual illusions. Many of you will have seen this before, and you will see that there's cell A, which is dark, and cell B, which is white, but it's in a shadow. But of course, if you take everything away, you'll see that they are actually the same colour. And just to show that's not trickery, they genuinely are the same colour. It really does fool the mind. And this is because when we see this picture, we don't look at this picture as it is. Our brain automatically fills in a lot of information. So it fills in that even those two things are the same colour. It's tainted by what we expect to see, not by what's actually there. Because if we saw what's actually there, we'd see both those cells as being the same colour. And this happens all the time in behaviour as well. We don't necessarily see or experience what we expect to experience. We go in with preconceptions, and those preconceptions taint what we actually experience. And again, if you're going to ask people questions, going to try and understand and get people to introspect, a lot of what will come out of there is expectations rather than what actually has happened. So if you're trying to get information out about the past or trying to get people to talk about what they're going to experience in the future, they will always have these kind of be tainted by these expectations that they have rather than actually what happens. This is why at Gorilla in the Room we use lots of visual technology to be able to get people in an experience and to have that experience in the now and to be able to report on it. And it's a much more accurate way of getting information out of people. But it's just a little thing to note that when we go into the world, we don't experience what is actually there. We experience what we expect quite often. And that, again, is a reason why answers aren't always the answer. Thank you very much. Please do click and subscribe and visit our website to find out more.